Hey, Morgan.
Tone,
How are you?
honey, I am beyond excited today. Can you believe where we are right now?
I
Sitting here
can't.
together
I
a year
know.
later from
I
this.
know. So we're deep into Domestic Violence Awareness Month, which is really important to us. Let me
Mm.
introduce myself. I'm Chatone Morrison. I am the Princess of Positivity, and this is Getting to After the podcast. I believe that healing doesn't have an age limit. I believe that confidence isn't reserved for just a few people. And so I'm a core energy coach, a confidence coach, an EFT specialist, a whole lot of other stuff. But more than anything, right now, I'm a friend. I'm a friend of women who need it. And I want to have them come back to themselves as easily as possible, but know that they have access to help. This is Morgan Bustos. Go ahead and introduce yourself, love.
Hey, everybody. Like Chatone said, I'm Morgan Bustos, and I'm your companion in transformation. I'm also an EFT practitioner and a woman who knows what it's like to rebuild after trauma. It's really neat because today, what we're going to be talking about is the kind of violence that you can't see, a hidden storm that destroys everything, even when the world around us looks like we're just fine.
Yeah, yeah. And so, because it is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we're going to open up each of these sessions, basically sessions, with this little gentle reminder. If your situation feels unsafe in any way, if it's precarious, if your children are around, or if you have an unsafe partner, we do want you to bookmark this episode or have your headphones on. Come back to us. We're going to be right here all month. We're going to show up every single Tuesday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And so come back in a time when it's safe, because it's never about listening to something to strengthen yourself and putting yourself into a more vulnerable position. So we want to make sure you know that. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about just a couple little housekeeping things so that you know what this is all about. So this is our 2025 season 2 of the Overcoming Silence series. So last year was Morgan's first time being able to speak up after 17 years of being silent. And so that's why this is such it's a bittersweet moment for us. It's a sweet moment because look how far she's come. Look how much we've been able to do. But also, of course, the bitter part is knowing that there's still women that are suffering. And also just looking back, it's not always easy. But if you want the whole series from last year, you can find it on our YouTube channel. It's amazing. And you'll really be able to go into the depths of what her story was all about. Some people don't like that. They want you to kind of be silent and stay silent. Okay, you came out, so like put it away now, it's not bad food, okay? It's not like, stinky potato salad. It's real. It's
Mhm.
real life. And this is what happens when you decide to speak up and when you decide to find people that will support you. You can get to after, and that's what this is all about. So we are excited. We are happy because we're able to continue this. It was a dream we had. How long, like, when did we start this? 2023? We were still thinking
Yeah,
about this?
2 years. Oh, over 2 years.
Over 2 years. And
Yeah.
also, Morgan's going to be modest and probably not say something. I mean, she's got big ideas all the time. Like, okay, Marielle, I don't know that we can execute that one.
She's like,
She's like,
focus.
yeah, but
One thing at a time. One thing at a time, baby.
we can do that one. It took us a year to get the podcast going, but now here we are a year later. So, as a plug for anyone who thinks that there's something you can't do, or you think there's something you can't finish, or you think that because right now you are in a victim situation, I don't like the word victim, but I use it occasionally, it doesn't mean that you're never going to get out. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you can't go on and do something really big. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that. And we have the proof. We got receipts to
Right.
prove. All right. So to get us started, because we do talk about some sensitive things here, Morgan is going to do some grounding for us. And Morgan, I really liked how last week you kind of described your experience with grounding. I would like you to reiterate that today in case anyone missed that, why we ground and how it's been effective for you throughout this process.
Oh, the one reason why I love grounding so much is because it completely helps calm down your nervous system. We're always breathing throughout the day, right? It's something subconscious that we do, but it's important because the deeper the breath, it hits your nervous system completely differently. So, right at this moment, what we're going to do is calm our minds and our hearts and our bodies. I invite you to go ahead and put your feet flat on the floor if any way possible. If you can, take off your shoes, rest your hands gently on your wherever they may feel comfortable. And then what we're going to do is we're going to inhale through our nose very, very deeply. And we're going to do that for about a 4 count. And then we're going to hold it for just a moment. And then we're going to exhale through our mouth for a 6 count. So let's go ahead and start. Are you ready? Okay. We'll breathe in and hold and out. And in again. And hold. And exhale. As we're doing this, you're more than welcome to roll your neck around, release the tension that's in your shoulders. We want to be able to just dissolve all of the tension all the way from our head, down in our neck, down to our shoulders, through our back, and just releasing it through into the floor through our feet. We want to take another deep breath in. And as we breathe out, this time we're going to force the air out very quickly and fast with an audible sound. And in this moment, whisper softly to yourself, I'm here, I'm safe, enough for this breath. And I welcome you back.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to mention too that, we always we do this at some point during our podcast. This is not a typical podcast. Okay. It's like a workshop every week. So tune in. Okay. But one of the things that we haven't done in a while, Morgan, and we probably need to do it. I probably have to do one, is a full grounding, because we haven't really put that in because we're on time constraints here. But I would love for us to do one maybe before the end of the month, and we'll do a full grounding where you can actually see how you can really be releasing through your body. I recently was certified in some, I would say it's a basic level of somatic exercises for stress. And it's so fascinating how the breath and how certain movements of the body turn into stress relief. And it's so important, whether it's you who's going through one of these situations right now, whether you've transitioned out and now you're trying to rebuild now after that, or it could be that you have a colleague at work and that she's going through that. And we always are referring to women. I know that it can be the converse, but we basically talk about women who are victims or survivors of domestic violence and not men. When you see someone, a friend, someone that these can help. This kind of breathing, this kind of grounding can help you as well to release that stress. Because let's face it, we're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So, Morgan, just getting started on this conversation, when we talk about what domestic violence looks like when you can't see it, that seems weird. What does that mean? Right? People say, of course you can see it. And I'm going to, have you talk about that in a second. But from an outsider's viewpoint, there's something that happens in your energy. If you have anything, like I'm an empath, but if you have any kind of compassion in you, if you have any kind of empathy in you, there's something that's like something's wrong.
Yeah.
You just feel it and you may walk on. But I think we have those micro moments often in our lives and we walk on. And many times we walk on because we're in a car. Maybe like I'm in DC all the time. I see a lot of things and I can't act on everything. I'm in my car, I'm on the train. There's things I can't act on. But I think the moment that someone is right in front of my face, or there's someone that I meet or know, and then I'm feeling all of that and I don't do anything, for me personally, that would sit with me. And that's how it was with us. That's how it was with us. And I was probably relentlessly making you crazy because I was like, but tell me. I've learned now that was probably not the right approach. But let me ask you this, Morgan. So when people hear domestic violence, the image that comes to mind is often, craziness and bruises and shouting and, weapons and things like that. But so often it doesn't look like that at all. And so there's this kind of invisible violence. Of course, there's emotional components. But when you hear that term invisible violence. What does that mean to you?
For me, honestly, it was the silence. It was having to be quiet about everything. But the constant monitoring, like where my phone was, what I was doing, who I was with, where I was going, why I was gone so long. Why am I still sitting in my car when my location says like I was there 5 minutes ago, and why are you still there? Why haven't you moved into the building? That kind of thing. Who are you talking to in the parking lot? There was so much
Really?
chaos, just from being human, just from being and doing your everyday normal kind of things. And so having that constant, it really is monitoring,
Yeah.
constant questioning. It really, really is a different kind of abuse, because it makes you feel like the things that you're doing every day are
Oh,
wrong. And
right.
it's just a part of being a person, just
Yeah.
doing daily things. And a lot of hard things too were that.
Oh, Morgan, I gotta cut that really hit me. I don't, that really hit me when you just said that. I don't know if if it hit anyone else like that, but it's interesting because last year you said constantly stripping you of being a person. And I think has nothing to do with women. Don't y'all come for me, but there's a particular animal rescuer on Facebook. I guess he's in a lot of places. And he also often talks about how when he's rescuing these animals, how they've been stripped. And I'm like, it's a dog. But what happens is, from me watching him for like a year now, and shout out to you, Lee Asher, you're the man, is that idea of even an animal has a certain way that they move through life, and they can be stripped of that.
Mhm,
So imagine imagine a person that you were supposed to be in love and a relationship with. So
mhm,
I think it's interesting that you say that kind of monitoring. It's like just what you would normally be doing as a person.
mhm.
You don't get out of your car right away. You don't run through the store. It's just some days you're tired, and you're moving slower. So go
Or
ahead.
you want to finish listening to the song that was playing in the car because you're jamming to it. Those normal things you would get in trouble for. And even though there were times where there were the bruises and there were the physical components of that, so much of it was psychologically, because the psychological abuse, the constant criticism and the demeaning and demoralizing and making you feel lesser than, or um, just humiliating you in the most horrible ways. That's where it was really the most traumatic, honestly, because that's something that you can't prove to anybody else. Nobody else can see it. So then it makes you look like you're crazy
Yeah.
for just responding, because you're shutting down, like your nervous system is shutting down. And so you're just constantly trying to just survive, and function as best as you can in that moment in
Yeah.
time. And that is where you do have to honor yourself, because you are doing the best that you can in that moment. But
Yeah.
it's different for everybody.
So, so you often say your nervous system shutting down. You talk
Mhm.
about shutdown. But obviously, you were raising children. You were still cooking every day. You were still doing all the things. I know you had to get up super early in the morning. Like, you were functioning.
Yeah.
So, what does that look like when you're coexisting in shutdown and also in hyper active mode?
For everybody, it's different. But for me personally, I became extremely ill. So I was having health problems galore, to the point where it was almost like I would be bedridden in the moments when I wasn't having to immediately care for the kids. Or even if I was like, okay, everybody come into this area so I can monitor you, but I need to lay down. There was so many times I was being hospitalized because I would be collapsing out of nowhere, because my stress level was so high,
So
my
high.
body couldn't handle it. So it would go, for example, what it would look like when I would have my episodes, I'd start shaking, my neck would start twitching. My thought process started slowing down, so I would be looking at you, but nothing would be clicking. Like I was struggling to understand what you were saying. Then my motor skills would stop working. My speech would become slurred, like as if I was
Oh,
drunk or something. Like really, really you couldn't understand it. And then I would just start shaking, and immediately I would collapse. So then in those moments, they would have to, call the ambulance and then have me taken to the hospital. The frustrating part with that was my body is obviously showing you that I'm not okay.
Okay.
But being at the hospital, they would run every test. They did a great job. They were doing everything they were supposed to be doing, but there was never anything wrong. That on a test, everything came back normal. So then that made me feel like I was even more crazy
Did
because
anyone ever ask you?
never
Yeah,
there's when I would be at the hospitals, nobody ever asked me the question, do you feel safe at home? Are you okay? Do you feel safe with your children? Or, things like that, not just your spouse, but are your children abusive? Because so many times that is the case too. You're not just being abused by your mate, but then also your children too, because they're mimicking what they're seeing.
that's right. That's right.
So I think that's one nice thing is now, like when you go to the doctor, that's
Yeah.
one of the things they have to
Yeah,
ask
they ask, yeah.
is, do you feel safe in your home?
So imagine that's not been that long, but it's so prevalent that there has been improvement. And I have to say, one of the things that I even at my hair salon, those posters are there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I remember as a hair salon, my daughter was small and it was in 2, 3 different languages, and I thought, how kind, because who's there but women, right? It later on when I asked a question, come to find out the woman who owned the salon was also an attorney.
Oh, wow.
So she did attorney by day and she had a salon for residual income. Like, shout out to that businesswoman, okay? But like, she was collecting all the receipts.
Yeah.
Um, but that's what she did. And she's like, no, I'm an advocate for women. And so it's important to me that everywhere I go, and she used to have little workshops there and things, fun stuff, makeup and self-care and jewelry. But she would always add that in. And that's the kind of person. And she closed the salon during the pandemic, which I hate that, but it's like she saw something, she said something, she decided to help people be more strong. So just in case you're wondering, you've been hearing us say that a lot, say strong, because we really believe that when you see something and you say something, you can help a woman up, you can help her into her strength. Morgan, I was thinking it's like, a person can be in the middle of an ice storm. You're from Colorado, it's super cold and crazy out there, but you can have on a coat and it looks really cool, but it's unlined. Like, so you must be so warm and toasty. We all have those coats that look really warm from the outside. You're like, girl, this thing is so thin, right? You're unprotected. You're all bundled up and it looks fine. But on the inside, you're shivering, you're suffering, you're freezing, and you feel like you're alone in the cold and you don't have anything. And someone has to notice that you're suffering. And, I guess they
That's
did the best they could, with what they had, but they should have asked.
Girl, that is a really good illustration because that's exactly how I felt, because everybody always assumed that I was okay because we had to put on this persona of being perfect, that kind of thing. And we didn't look hurt. We didn't look like we were in pain. We didn't look like these things. Well, at least at first, but inside I was freezing. I was becoming completely numb to everything and being desensitized. So that illustration is really, really good. And I know that there's someone out there right here, right now listening that
Yes.
feels exactly the same way for sure.
Yeah. I think this idea of invisible violence, there's an article that's going to be coming out in the newest issue of the Getting to After magazine, where we talk about, more on the emotional side. We have an article about 10 ways to see like signs of when it's mental, when it's not mental as an illness, but mental abuse, when it's emotional abuse, because so many times we downplay that. Well, you don't have any scar, like you'll be okay. Just think positive. I am the whole principle of positivity. Just think positive is a curse word when it comes to someone who's being abused.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
Mm-hmm.
Just think positive. Did I ever say that to you, Morgan, by mistake?
Never,
Okay.
never. No, honestly, the things that stood out to me is how you always just ask me, you're like, are you safe? Are the children safe? And you say, okay. Like, and it's hard as the person on the outside because you don't want to ask the wrong thing. You don't want to say the wrong thing because you don't want them to retract and pull back. And there were so many times I did, even though you said everything correctly, but it's because I was terrified that I was going to say something that would give everything away. And then the repercussions for that would be been terrifying, you know?
Yeah. It's interesting because there's a lot of neglect.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think there's neglect, obviously, from the person who's supposed to be helping to take care of you on all those different levels, but then there's neglect of yourself. And I remember there was a time, because of course I hadn't met you yet, right? So everything was virtual. And there was a period of time where you kind of disappeared. And when you reappeared, you were so small. And I thought, why is she, these was before the shot days. I was like, why is she so tiny? Like, you were so small. And that was in the transition period. This is after you'd left, not when you'd escaped across country, but after you'd left. So again, some of these signs, if someone who's always been bubbly is suddenly doesn't laugh or smile.
Mhm.
Conversely, if someone who's always kind of very serious starts being like hyper excited, because that's what you did, it was like this hyper laughing, joking thing that you are silly. Okay. In
Right.
real life, you have a silliness to you. But it was out of character for how you'd been. And
Mhm.
I just was like, something isn't right. Something's not right. The idea of starting to shrink your voice and your presence and your joy, and then having to show presence and joy and activity and energy for your kids is enough to make someone, shut down.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was, babe, is having to like overcompensate for the crazy, overcompensate for the chaos, overcompensate for the danger and the stress and the lack of love and compassion and consideration and just human decency. And so you're right. I always, did and still am working on it, like overcompensated and being at a high level because I'm trying to make sure that I can lift the morale of everybody else up to be at like at least a safe kind of
A
feeling.
baseline.
Yeah, yeah, the baseline.
Yeah. And so one of the things about EFT that we love is that because that's a part of who you are the person who's going to buy a hamburger for a homeless man. Like, that's you with your last dollar on the dollar menu. Like, that's just happens to be who you are. And it's not because you were a victim at one time and now a survivor of domestic violence. That's Morgan.
Mhm.
That's you. I'll think about him. I'll probably just give him the dollar though. I'm not buying the hamburger. Like, I'm just saying, like, so we do it in different ways, but that's
Mhm.
who you are. But the thing is that idea, and for any of you who feel that, if you're listening to our voices and you feel that need to constantly lift other people, my question to you would be, when's the last time you lifted yourself? When's the last time? Because we're very, very good at lifting others and ignoring ourselves. And we talk about that a lot here. But in this particular conversation, when is the last time you thought you should be one of the people that gets lifted?
That's a good point. And that ties in with what we were just talking about too, about how like when you said like I looked completely differently. It was interesting because once I started opening up to you a little bit, you shared with me how because I had lost so much weight. I mean, I was like a skeleton, like my face was caved in. I mean, I was tiny, tiny, tiny. And you told me it was because my core was trying to protect itself. So like I never ate. I wasn't going to the bathroom. I was barely drinking anything, that kind of thing, because my brain didn't think that was a necessity. I was just trying to stay alive.
That's
And
right.
so in those moments in time, you don't think anything of it until somebody brings it to your attention. But
Yeah,
just
I
be
think, go ahead.
no, 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 just being in a moment where now sitting back and looking at it, I looked deathly ill because I wasn't taking care of myself. So you bringing out how important it is to take just a little moment for yourself, even if it's just going to the bathroom
Yeah.
or getting
Yeah.
yourself some water.
Yeah. And something, I really, really want to, I know I always go here. I'm sorry, guys. This is my life. Okay.
Mhm.
One of the things that happens when a woman loses weight is she gets complimented.
Mhm.
Oh my God, girl, look at you. You lost so much weight. So let me tell you something. If you happen to be a heavy woman, you're over 200 pounds, and you start dramatically losing weight and people start complimenting you, look back. Am I trying?
Mhm.
Am I trying to lose weight? Or am I just not eating because of some trauma that I'm going through?
Mm.
Also, that could also indicate some other sicknesses. So don't allow the culture to help you to neglect your health, or there's a trauma, or there's terrible abuse going on. And because of one part of your life, someone's saying, girl, you look good.
Mm.
All right. Don't allow that, because it is, without getting into, I've got all kind of health problems. We're going to be talking about that before the end of the year, health and caretaking and all of that. But the bottom line is that those kind of comments will negate how sick you are. And if you're in a domestic violence, abusive situation, you are sick. There's sickness going on. And whether or not anyone's paying attention to it, it is happening. And so just not allowing other people's view, which could be completely off, the wrong viewpoint, not allowing that to help you to ignore something you need to address.
Mm.
So, Morgan, I really want to get into some tapping. Um, you know, for the woman who's listening to us, maybe you're listening in your car. Maybe you're in the bathroom at work. Maybe you have tears, running down your face because you're like, I've been hiding for so long, and I think they're talking to me.
Mm.
I think Chatone and Morganne are talking to me. We want you to know we're talking to you. And we're going to say it really quietly. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. Even if it's invisible, and even if the wounds are under your shirt because they know how to hit you,
Mm.
it's real. And if you're in the workplace and you have one earphone in, you're at your desk, maybe you're in the cafeteria, it's lunchtime, and you're trying to hold it back, I want to just remind you that I do have a LinkedIn series right now. It's an article series that I'm putting on LinkedIn. There'll be one dropping every Wednesday on my personal LinkedIn page. It'll be in the description box below, Chatone Morrison. It's really talking about DV in the workplace, because so many times you can't help but bring your trauma with you. I mean, you're you.
Right.
It's coming with you, right? Whether or not someone can see it or not. I'm sorry, baby. We said no tears. I'm sorry.
It's so hard.
I know. But last week we dropped the first article, which is when trauma walks through the door at work.
Mhm.
Definitely go take a listen to that, or go read that rather. It's not audible. Maybe I should make it audio. Maybe that came out because I'm like, I should read that and put it on Spotify. Okay. All right. I'm listening to me. So you have to lighten the mood a little bit.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. So before we tap, and if this is your first time tapping with us, I'm not going to go through all of what tapping is every single week. Go back and watch another episode. This is a way that we're going to try and neutralize some of these emotions, try and release some of the heaviness of what's going on. And if you are in a domestic violence situation, please come back every week, or at some point come back and tap with us. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions before we tap. So when you think about the invisible parts of your story, the silence, the shrinking, that being cold, even though you look like you're covered, where do you feel it in your body? All right. So for those of you who are listening, if you're listening to the replay, you can kind of journal that out, because tapping with knowledge is always better. So you can go ahead and journal that. Or if you're watching the premiere with us, hi, you can go ahead and you can just be thinking about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is that feeling right now? So it may be, I feel it in my stomach. I feel it in my stomach, and it's like at a level 8. All right. So you would kind of be thinking about that. That's a pretty high number. Our goal would be to bring it down a little bit, but understand too, sometimes it rises a little bit because you're actually admitting with honesty and you're allowing yourself to be seen. The third thing is, we just want you to notice it. There's no judgment attached to it. Awareness is the first step of release. So we're not like, oh, you're at an 8. You know what I mean? That's not the point. And if you happen to be in relationship with someone, a sister, a cousin, your mom, a best friend, a neighbor who this is for, tap for them right now and share the episode with them. Okay? Let's go ahead and get started. All right, Morgan. So we're going to be tapping on this idea of doubt, self-trust, feeling unseen, or, naming some of these things that we talked about today. But then we're also going to be releasing them. All right. And it's going to be a tapping session that anyone can do. You can think about what it looks like for you in your life right now, or you might be tapping on something else. The tapping will still work, right? So we're going to start on the karate chop point. So we start here on the karate chop point, and you can repeat after me out loud in your mind, or just above a whisper, or you can just tap and watch us. Even though I feel unseen,
Even though I feel unseen,
I honor my survival.
I honor my survival.
Even though I live with uncertainty,
Even though I live with uncertainty,
I accept myself right now.
I accept myself right now.
Even though doubt weighs on me,
Even though doubt weighs on me,
I choose compassion for myself today.
I choose compassion for myself today.
Okay. So take a deep breath in and let it out. And we're going to start in the eyebrow point. Actually, I'm going to switch hands. This unseen weight,
This unseen weight,
side of eye. This uncertain feeling,
this uncertain feeling,
under eye. This doubt in my body,
this doubt in my body,
under nose. This doubt in my mind,
this doubt in my mind,
chin. This uncertainty in my chest,
this uncertainty in my chest,
collarbone. This doubt in my belly,
this doubt in my belly,
underarm. This unseen ache,
this unseen ache,
top of head. This weight I can't show,
this weight that I just can't show,
eyebrow point. I'm unseen by others,
I am unseen by others,
side of eye. I'm uncertain in myself,
I'm uncertain in myself,
under eye. I doubt what I feel,
I doubt what I feel,
under nose. I'm doubting what I know,
I'm doubting what I know,
chin. It's unseen even by me sometimes,
it's unseen even by me sometimes,
collarbone. This uncertainty keeps gripping me,
this uncertainty keeps gripping me,
underarm. This doubt takes space inside of me,
this doubt takes space inside of me,
top of head. It's an unseen, uncertain doubt.
it's an unseen and uncertain doubt.
Take a deep breath in. Just breathe out and release some of that. I don't know about you, Morgan, but you may even move your body. You may feel like I just felt my spine release. You may feel that you're talking to your body.
Mm.
We're going to loosen the grip on some of this. We're going to start by tapping again right now. Eyebrow point. I release some of this unseen weight.
I release some of this unseen weight.
Side of eye. I release the uncertainty in my chest.
I release the uncertainty in my chest.
Under eye. I release the doubt in my body.
I release the doubt in my body.
Yeah. Under nose. I release the doubt in my mind.
I release the doubt in my mind.
Chin. I let some of this go.
I let some of this go.
Collarbone. I allow myself to breathe.
I allow myself to breathe.
Underarm. I allow myself to trust again.
I allow myself to trust again.
Top of head. I release what no longer belongs to me.
I release what no longer belongs to me.
Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Morgan, last week you mentioned to our audience that it will take more than one time of tapping.
Mm.
This particular tapping transformation is simple.
Mm.
You don't feel just where someone bruises you. Your body responds everywhere.
Mm.
Our nervous system is connected to our spinal cord. When I tap, often my back cracks. It's
Yeah.
releasing tension. It's releasing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some spoken affirmations right now. Just three that I wrote. And we're not going to tap, but if you want to tap, you can. If you want to tap on these, you could tap on the side of the hand. I'm not going to tap. It's up to you. I'm allowed to trust what I feel.
I'm allowed to trust what I feel.
I am seen in this moment.
I am seen in this moment.
I'm learning to believe myself.
And I'm learning to believe myself.
You know, even for you, it may not be your current life. It's not yours right now. But I know there's certain times of year where you have triggers, brings back certain pain. You know, I know that, Morgan, about you. And I'm not sure we're going to be together this year, but I know you're better this year than you were last year. Every year is going to be better. It's beautiful that you no longer have to hide. And for those of our listeners, if it's you right now and you're still kind of, reticent, you still don't know what to do, our goal is just to bring you some tools to help you get through. That's
Exactly.
our goal.
Mm-hmm. Just be able to give you like comfort, a sense of comfort, a sense of belonging, understanding, and just knowing that you're not alone through this, that you have our love and support.
Yeah. And I mentioned last week as well that, again, we do not talk spirituality here. You will never hear us talk about that. But we have a really interesting resource that has scripture that is beautiful. And so if it's something that you desire, we will send it to you. It is something that we're going to be distributing at several shelters this month and beyond. And so if it's something that you're interested in, we can get that to you. Okay, so we've tapped, we've breathed, we've and we want to also remind you that if you want a personal tapping session, if you want to see what tapping's all about or be a part of one of our circles, we have some circles coming up soon. We want to make sure that you visit bit.ly/chat-tap. Make sure that you do that. Morgan, I know that you said you want to give our listeners a love note today.
Yes.
It's so fun. So let me Morgan, I know you had a love note that you wanted to share with anyone who may be in the midst of domestic violence right now. I think that was so sweet. And so go for it.
Well, this is to the woman still inside. We see you. We know the exhaustion of pretending that you're fine. We know the way your body holds its breath and the way your smile hides its ache. You're not overreacting and you're not imagining things. Your nervous system isn't broken, it's actually doing its job. Not walking away from the situation right now doesn't mean that you're weak. It means that you're surviving in the way that you need to. Please hold on to this because this is for you. You're worthy, you are seen, and you are ready. Your own story will not end here.
Wow,
So
thank you, Morgan. That was beautiful.
you're welcome.
Woo, okay. So let's just do a little ending grounding breath. Let's rest your hands on your lap. You can put your palms up if you like, or however is comfortable for you. I want you to inhale deeply in through your nose. We're going to count to 4. Hold it and exhale through your mouth. And just whisper, I'm allowed to keep going. Yeah. So, Morgan, I'm glad we're doing this. It is deep. I am going to have to go tap after this because It's a lot. It's a lot. I know that you have other things to share. We want to definitely talk about our Empowerment Essential Kits this
Yes.
month. So you'll see some other videos dropping. Make sure that you check out our stories on our reels on both Instagram, on Facebook, on the Getting to After page, the Instagram page, Getting to After, on my TikTok, Real Princess of Positivity, like all the places. We want to make sure you know how to support a woman who's moving into a shelter. We'll talk about this more about this next week. The Empowerment Essential Kits are such a beautiful way of doing this. And so Morgan will be telling you more about that as we go forward. Thanks for being here, Morgan.
Well, and also just remember that if you need the resources, email us at tapping@gettingtoafter.com. Remember to always protect yourself first. So come back when it's safe for you. And then also remember that if there's anyone else that you notice is in this storm and that they've been standing in, that we see you and we honor you at this moment in time.
We sure do. We sure do. Well, we'll see you next week. Please come back and please share the episode. We love you. And thanks for being here. Mwah. Bye.